Hello, everyone. Hello. And thank you, Dr. Betsy, for hosting this amazing Happy Vagina rally and for inviting me to be here today with all these amazing women. It's such an honor to be here. So, I've put together a great presentation for you all. Now, some of you know me, but some of you may not. So, please let me introduce myself before I get started on all the great stuff I have for you today. I'm Dr. Karen Leggett, a board-certified family medicine and geriatrics physician. I graduated from the University of New England College of Osteopathic Medicine and then completed a family medicine residency at my alma mater and then completed a geriatric fellowship at Florida Hospital in Orlando, Florida, and then continued postgraduate training in functional medicine in the Endocrinology and Nutrition Fellowship with the American Academy of Anti-Aging. I'm the CEO of Leggett Medical Group, which I founded 20 years ago in Sarasota, Florida, which now consists of myself, another integrative physician, and 3 amazing nurse practitioners. And as you see, we love caring for people and we love having a good time too. I'm also the CEO and founder of Women's Midlife Specialist, where we help midlife women navigate and master hormone balance before, during, and after menopause. We also offer our proprietary line of 100% natural bioidentical hormones that I created and have made available over the counter to amazing women like you, as well as our line of gut health and metabolic boosting products and online programs. So I know just a little about being a midlife woman, and not just because I'm a doctor who cares for them, but because I'm one myself. And I didn't have such an easy time through my midlife years. As a younger woman in premenopause, I suffered greatly, and my physician colleagues couldn't help me. My fatigue was abnormally excessive, and my zest for life simply did not exist. I was so frightened that I would spend the rest of my life feeling horrible. To make a long story short, I discovered through furthering my work in functional medicine that my body lacked any sort of balance between my hormone systems. Discovering the root causes allowed me to climb out of what felt like my grave, and I have been helping women ever since. I'm 61 years old now, and I feel in great shape, and I intend to help as many women as I can in my lifetime achieve the vibrancy they deserve and need so they can continue to be the leaders of their families. And hormone balance is critical for a happy vagina. So this is why I'm here for you today, to give you some insight into your hormones and what happens to them as we transition through our midlife years. So let's get started on the good stuff. Are you ready? So, if vaginal health is associated with hormones, you may ask, at what age do our hormones start to decline? Well, hormones actually start to decline long before menopause, often 10 years, and even in some women, 15 years before menopause actually even occurs. Some women experience symptoms during these premenopausal years, and some women don't. It turns out that although many women do experience similar symptoms, the symptoms of menopause can vary significantly from woman to woman as well. Now, the average age of menopause is around 51 to 52 years old. And so for many, declining hormones may bring about symptoms as early as 40 years old. In my case, it was even earlier, around 35 years old. Now, I want to share this with you because it's called the hormone cascade. If you look at the top of this graph, right here where I'm pointing my cursor, you see that cholesterol starts the hormone cascade. And from cholesterol, pregnenolone, right here, is the first prohormone that is made. And from pregnenolone, all the other sex hormones are made: progesterone, DHEA, testosterone, and the different forms of estrogen. You might also want to take a look right down here on the left bottom of the diagram. Cortisol. Many of us are familiar with cortisol as our stress hormone that rises in time of need, both good and bad. And take a look where cortisol comes from, right here. It comes from progesterone. So you can see how important progesterone and pregnenolone are for our stress hormone cortisol. Now let's take a look at some of the individual hormones and how they change as we move through our life. Here is a graph on the changes in pregnenolone levels. You can see how it declines quite significantly after around the age of 35 years old. By the age of 50, our pregnenolone levels have dropped by more than half, and the decline continues as we age. So, since pregnenolone declines, you can guess what's happening to our other hormones. And, as you might suspect, our other sex hormones decline as well. But interestingly, they don't all decline at the same rate. Here is a graph of estrogen and progesterone levels from ages 25 to 75 years old. Estrogen is the top line here, and progesterone is the dotted line underneath. What you see here is that progesterone declines much more rapidly than estrogen. And in fact, progesterone has the sharpest decline of all the sex hormones, declining at 75% between the ages of 35 and 55, while estrogen declines more slowly with a 35% reduction during the same time in our lives. And since the job of progesterone is to balance the jobs of estrogen, some of the earliest symptoms of premenopause are often caused by low levels of progesterone. The good thing about that is that when we are talking about having a happy vagina, a low level of progesterone is probably the least likely of all the sex hormones to cause vaginal symptoms. But we don't get by so easily with other parts of our body that progesterone plays a role in. Insomnia is one of the first symptoms I have noticed women complain about as they enter their midlife years. And indeed, lower levels of progesterone can initiate and cause insomnia. Decreased functioning of thyroid hormones, weight gain and water retention, and sugar cravings are all also very common. Additional symptoms of low progesterone include pain and inflammation, tender or fibrocystic breasts, migraine headaches, mood swings, bloating, ovarian cysts, and even having a higher risk of miscarriage occurs with low levels of progesterone. We really need healthy levels of progesterone because it has so many benefits for our body. Progesterone is our non-estrogen breast cell protector. Its function is to counteract the growth effects that estrogen has on our breast and uterine tissue. You see, estrogen is a stimulating hormone, so estrogen helps things grow. That's why when our estrogen levels go down, we may feel like we're shriveling up, so to speak. And when it comes to our breasts and uterine tissue, progesterone counteracts the growth effects of estrogen, which helps protect these organs from tissue overgrowth. Progesterone is also a natural blood pressure lowering hormone. It helps balance blood sugar, and it stimulates bone building cells called osteoblasts, which help build bone. So you can see why we love our progesterone. So let's take a look at another important hormone, DHEA. Here it is on the hormone cascade. DHEA is made soon after pregnenolone, and it gives rise to testosterone and the estrogens. So it's a pretty important hormone. DHEA is considered an androgen hormone, like testosterone. And DHEA is known to decrease rapidly between the ages of 35 and 50, declining at a whopping 50% during this time. DHEA has many important functions in our body, and in fact, DHEA is the most abundant circulating hormone in all the hormones that come from cholesterol. It's so important that the brain makes its own DHEA, and there are many important functions DHEA has in our body. DHEA is involved in the maintenance and division of nerve stem cells. It supports brain plasticity, which is the ability of the brain to repair itself and recover after injury. DHEA also increases our sense of well-being. DHEA decreases allergic reactions, and it increases energy through the support of mitochondrial activities, where our ATP, our energy, is made. DHEA has heart and blood vessel benefits by decreasing cholesterol. It decreases inflammation in the vascular walls and by improving insulin sensitivity. DHEA also increases bone growth, and it increases muscle strength and lean body mass, and decreases abdominal fat. And as if DHEA decreasing by 50% between the ages of 35 and 50 was not challenging enough, it is also proposed that DHEA declines even faster during times of acute and chronic stress. And indeed, this is exactly what I have seen clinically. This graph represents how pregnenolone and DHEA decline more rapidly during acute and chronic stress. The top dotted line here represents cortisol. The lower slashed line represents the more rapid decline of DHEA, with a spike and fall of cortisol, which occurs during stressful times. And this is pretty significant because we are often facing some of the most stressful and challenging times of our lives as we move through our midlife years. I bet this looks familiar to you. Or how about this? Being pulled in all different directions? But this one is the one I like best. This is what our loved ones look like when we finally can't take it anymore and we say no to them. Isn't it true? That's because we're wonderful and we give all the time. We don't say no very often. So DHEA is very important for our health. And guess what else? DHEA is also great for a happy vagina. We'll talk more about this wonderful effects of DHEA have on both the inside and outside of our vagina in another talk. So stay tuned for that. Now, how about testosterone? Let's take a look at this androgen. Okay, so testosterone, it's not just the hormone men have that helps bring about their insatiable appetite for sex. It has many more important functions for both men and women. Here is a graph of testosterone levels as we age. The blue line is the total testosterone, and this green line is called free testosterone. Now, free testosterone is the form of testosterone that is not bound to protein. So it is the free testosterone that is usable by the body. If a hormone is bound to protein, it isn't able to be used for the functions of the body. So we are really looking at this green line here. And though it declines less rapidly than the other hormones, it still declines by 25% between the ages of 35 and 55. Now, testosterone is one of my favorite hormones because it increases energy and endurance, and it increases our sense of well-being, self-confidence, and motivation. Testosterone increases muscle mass and strength. It decreases body fat, and testosterone increases bone, so it decreases bone loss. Testosterone helps balance the immune system. This is one of the reasons it's felt men are less inclined than women to develop autoimmune diseases. Testosterone increases the elasticity of our skin. And guess what else? It increases the elasticity of. You guessed it. Testosterone increases the elasticity of the vagina. This surprises a lot of women because it's often thought that only estrogen increases the elasticity of the vagina. But today we know that this isn't true. Almost all of our wonderful hormones play a role in keeping our vaginas nice and happy. So let's take a look at our last hormone, estrogen. There are actually at least 4 different types of estrogen. The 3 most common are E1, E2, and E3. And it's really quite easy to remember which is which. E1 is estrone, and it has a 1 in its name, E1 estrone. E2 is estradiol, and it has a di in its name, E2 estradiol. And E3 is estriol, and it has a tri in its name, E3 estriol. In a woman's body, estrogen plays so many important roles. Estrogen is to a woman as testosterone is to a man. And personally, I believe estrogen is a woman's life force. This is my personal opinion. Clinically, what I have seen is that estrogen is truly a critical hormone for a woman's core energy force. There are many symptoms and signs of low estrogen. Hot flashes, thinning, dry hair, dry skin, brittle nails, thinning bones, weight gain, slower digestion, weak pelvic floor, dry vagina, memory changes, fatigue, motivation decline, cholesterol increase, and mood changes. Estrogen increases our energy. It improves our motivation and decreases fatigue. And these are just a few of the benefits of estrogen. And like testosterone, estrogen increases our skin elasticity. Estrogen builds bone by stimulating osteoblasts, just like progesterone does. It also helps bone absorb calcium, magnesium, and zinc, all important minerals for bone growth and maintenance. Estrogen stimulates the growth of hair, nails, and skin. And it stimulates the growth of the stomach and bowel lining, which helps repair our GI tract. Estrogen also improves the elasticity of blood vessel walls, so it helps maintain healthy blood pressure and helps decrease the risk of heart disease. And it may surprise you to know that heart disease kills more people in the United States than all forms of cancers combined. Estrogen also helps decrease heart disease by increasing the good HDL cholesterol and decreasing the LDL and triglycerides. Estrogen plays an important role in our neurotransmitter balance of serotonin, acetylcholine, GABA, and dopamine, and these are important neurotransmitters which regulate our moods, motivation, ability to think and learn and feel joy and satisfaction. Estrogen helps us maintain focus, maintain a good memory, and word recall. And estrogen helps maintain healthy levels of endorphins, which are our happy chemicals released by different areas of the brain and body. And it may not be any surprise to you to hear that estrogen increases our creativity. Estrogen helps maintain our pelvic floor muscles and our bladder function. And by doing this, estrogen helps decrease urinary leakage. Estrogen also keeps the urethra right here moist, which helps prevent bacteria from entering the bladder, thus decreasing the risk of urinary tract infections. And so far, that's a lot of great stuff estrogen is responsible for, huh? But I'm not finished yet. Here's one you'll love. When it comes to the sex hormone that supports our sex drive the most, guess what? It's actually not testosterone, it's estrogen. Estrogen is our feminine, nurturing, loving hormone, and what drives a woman to intimacy, especially a mature woman. Estrogen is so much a part of her passion for a fulfilled heart and soul. And it is this which drives us to connect with the one we love. We are primarily driven by our connection. I share more juicy info about this in the bonus webinar that I made for you in this wonderful Happy Vagina Rally. So make sure you download your bonus webinar from me. So we talked a lot about the sex hormones, but I haven't said anything yet about estrogen in the vagina. Well, you know it. Just like estrogen helps maintain the elasticity of the skin and blood vessels, estrogen helps maintain the elasticity of the vagina. It also helps maintain lubrication of the vagina, which also helps maintain the proper pH and proper microbiome inside the vagina as well. And all of this helps prevent infections in the vagina. Here is a great picture of vaginal tissue magnified. The left side over here of this picture represents a vagina supplied with adequate estrogen. And on the right side, you can see what the tissues look like magnified when they are without adequate estrogen. Here on the left side again, the vaginal lining is thick, and the blood vessels here are robust, allowing more blood flow to reach the vaginal tissues. On the other side over here, the vaginal lining is thin and dry with small blood vessels, making it difficult to feed the vaginal tissues with healthy nutrients and oxygen that are carried in the blood through the blood vessels. Additional changes seen with vaginal atrophy is shortening of the vagina itself. You can see in this picture the decrease in vaginal length here on the right side compared to that on the left. There is also thinning of the vaginal wall and a loss of these normal folds in a happy vagina called rugal folds. These rugal folds allow the vagina to stretch. So you can see that there is thinning and atrophy on also the outer areas of the vagina called the labias. Both the inner and outer labias get thinner, drier, and stiffer with vaginal atrophy. And vaginal atrophy can lead to quite a bit of pain and suffering. A woman often faces painful intercourse, dryness, burning with urination, urinary tract infections and yeast infections, vaginal itching and irritation, and even a decreased sex drive, which results in unhealthy guilt. It's felt that vaginal atrophy is actually underdiagnosed because women are afraid to tell their doctor something is wrong. And sometimes a woman will stop getting female exams because she fears pain with the examination, which is a problem in itself. But I promise you, we want to know how you feel and what is happening in your body. The most important thing for you to know is to not give up, and that there are many ways we can help you have a happy vagina. So stay tuned right here to the Happy Vagina Rally to discover everything you need to know to have a happy vagina now and forever. It's my joy and honor to serve you today and be a part of your discovery in the Happy Vagina Rally. I am truly grateful to be here today. We have to help each other and always stay connected. Please remember to download the bonus webinar I put together just for you. It's all about how to spruce up your emotional intimacy with the man you love. You'll love it, and I promise it will change the way you look at your man forever. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And thank you so much, Dr. Betsy, for having me here with you and all these amazing women. I am so grateful to be a part of your Happy Vagina Rally. Bye-bye.